Alright, what's going on today, YouTube? Welcome back to your favorite cyclist YouTube channel and this week's Bike Quick Talks. So what are we talking about this week? This week we're talking about the difference between narrow handlebars and wide handlebars and which one should you fit on your bike. But before we get into today's video, if you are new to my channel, make sure you head down below, hit that subscribe button for me. If you already are subscribed, make sure that little bell icon next to that is checked. That way you get notified every time I upload. That way you don't miss any of these awesome bike quick talks, tutorials, reviews, and of course rides we do on this channel because it's all sorts of fun stuff. So, into the video today, narrow bars versus wide handlebars. Which is the best option for you? Before we get started, I made a video about 2 years ago, right up here in the corner, all about whether a wide handlebar and a short stem are actually worth it, and that was back when I swapped the handlebars out on the Superfly for a much different setup. So if you guys haven't checked that out, check that video out here. I'll post it at the end of the video as well, that way you guys can take a look at it. But going with that video, there is a huge difference between a narrow handlebar and a wide handlebar. Let's go ahead and start off with narrow handlebars. For narrow handlebars, you really gotta think back to when mountain bike first started. Mountain bike, when it first started, was people on beach cruisers that would essentially either ride on beach cruiser handlebars, or if they wanted to get kind of a flat bar, they swapped it out for a motorcycle handlebar. This is back, you know, if you look at motorcycles back in like the 80s, most of them had a narrower handlebar on them. So that's what they used, narrower handlebars. And you also have to realize that mountain bikes back then were mostly made for racing. Therefore, a narrower handlebar and a longer stem therefore get you in a more aerodynamic, more race-ready position. Dirt bikes, motorcycles from like the 80s, those are really where mountain biking comes from. So that's where the handlebars are, that's where you get your narrow handlebars from. So that's where bikes like this, my Trek 3700 here, it had a narrow handlebar and a long stem when I first bought it. And this is like a 2009 model. So that carried on pretty much all the way to then, except for in very specific cases, and even then there were a lot of, pretty much it was the same deal. They might have a shorter stem, but most of them had a narrower handlebar. So what's the deal with a wider handlebar? Where did that come in? A wider handlebar came in probably a couple years after this, probably around like 2012, 2013. People started to go for a wider handlebar and a much shorter stem. So what's the deal with that? With a wider handlebar and a shorter stem, that makes your steering feel a lot more stable and a little bit more maneuverable versus a narrow handlebar and a longer stem. So how does that work? Well, I'll explain that all in another video where essentially you're moving your, your rotation point much farther into the actual steer tube of your fork, and then you're giving yourself more leverage on the wider handlebars. Therefore, you're able to turn your wheel much faster and much easier than you would on a narrow handlebar with a longer stem on. So which one is the better one to choose? Well, it really depends on the type of riding you're looking to do. If you're looking to really bomb down trails and do a lot of kind of a all mountain enduro type riding, the wider handlebars are going to be your way to go. They make such a big difference than riding with these narrow handlebars. A lot of times those type of riding, you're not riding through really thin trails with a lot of trees, and you're not riding through those kind of situations. You're riding through places where you have a bit of room where a wider handlebar will fit no problem at all. If you're doing a lot of kind of cross country where you're trying to go do like exploration and stuff like that, and there's a lot of tight trails where you're going to be riding, the narrow handlebar is going to be your way to go, mainly because of that factor of it being a tighter trail. Does it make a difference? Like I said, it makes a huge difference going from narrow handlebars to a wider handlebar. I think on my Superfly I went from like a 720 millimeter to like a 760. So I mean, even that bit of a difference with that shorter stem made a world of difference on the bike, made it perform like a totally different bike. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, appreciate the support. Any comments or questions, let me know down in the comment section below. Let me answer any questions you guys have, love chatting with you as well, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching today.